Rachelsey at the movies, quarantine.
We don't get gays anymore in quarantine. We watched a movie titled The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, starring Sam Elliott. You know Sam Elliott, like he's from lots of things. Everybody loves Sam Elliott.
Well, Rachel especially loves Sam
I especially love Sam Elliott.
I don't know if everybody loves Sam Elliott.
I feel like he could be my grandpa, and I would really much like that. This movie, we've seen, it's been available on HULU. I did not take time to see if it's available elsewhere, and you'll learn why I didn't take the time to look that up for you in a bit. But this movie is about a man who killed Hitler.
And then
later killed Bigfoot. That's kind of the setup. When you watch the trailer for the movie, it looks, interesting. It reminded me of other movies we've seen, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer, and Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I really enjoyed both of those movies.
One of them, I don't remember which one, but one of them I thought was definitely better than the other one.
Yeah, I think there was one that was definitely better than
both.
the other.
I enjoyed both.
But I enjoyed both of them. Both of them had the feel of, we don't have the biggest budget in the world.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had. I think they could have been, if you could have taken that creativity and mixed it with a bigger budget, it would have been really interesting. But we decided to watch this movie last night. Kelsey, go wait or skip.
This is a skip. This movie, I enjoyed this movie, okay? But because it's terrible. It's terrible in like a lot of terrible ways.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was so bad that I enjoyed it. The dialogue is awful. The story, I thought the story was not terrible. Like if somebody was like, here's the story, you'd be like, oh, I kind of want to see that, which is why we watched it. And yet, I don't know, it's something like this movie, it's almost as if the person who wrote it, I don't want to throw any stones at you guys, but it seems like, I don't know, it seemed like it was written by like a 14-year-old. Like the dialogue, even like how the story was put together and what the scenes that they chose to have in the story. And there were some crazy things that happened in this movie that I'm really glad I saw, but unless you're just looking for something to then I would just skip it.
Yeah, I'm also going to say skip, unless you're looking to like add a notch to your list of I've seen the most like awful movies ever. Maybe you have an ongoing list of movies like that. Throw this on the pile there and watch it. But otherwise, like, it's a skip. But like I feel like what you're saying is like it was so awful that you kind of loved it.
Yeah.
Like it was awful in like
I'm
best
super glad I watched
possible way.
Yeah, and I would like to get into that. Like,
okay, let's just get into spoilers, yeah.
Okay, spoilers. I don't like that. Listen, there was a point in this movie where he's hunting Bigfoot at the end of it, right? He tracks Bigfoot down, shoots Bigfoot in the head, but Bigfoot, it doesn't really look like a Bigfoot, but Bigfoot is like this big monster thing, is injured, he tracks him down, Bigfoot dies, and he's gonna burn Bigfoot's body so that the government can.
He has like a burial for him, yeah.
At this point in this terrible movie, I was like, man, I wish Bigfoot was possuming in this guy and like would grab him and throw him off this cliff. That would make this movie epic. That isn't quite what happened, but Bigfoot was possuming the guy, and then an epic battle ensued between Sam Elliott and Bigfoot, which included Bigfoot doing some kind of Bigfoot martial arts. He sprayed him with like I don't want gallons of vomit, almost as if that was like a projectile like force that he had.
And here's me during that.
I mean, it was one of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen on film because it was terrible, because it was the idea of it was so outlandish, because I just made a joke in my head about it before it happened that I couldn't even look over to my wife during this time.
He couldn't take his eyes
to
off
be
the
like,
screen.
what is this? Which is common when we watch music. I just wanted to like take it all in. And that's just a piece of this crazy, terrible movie that's definitely a skip, but I definitely loved watching it.
And 2 spoilers just about that part of the movie. The whole Bigfoot thing is like a 10% of the movie. It's not even... The whole rest of the movie was primarily awful dialogue.
Yeah.
Secondarily, Bigfoot, didn't look like not Harry and the Hendersons' Bigfoot. No, instead, this
Not
like,
beef jerky Sasquatch Bigfoot.
no. It was like kind of thin, like super lanky, but hairy like Bigfoot, and then had an alien face. I was like, what? Like it was so weird. And at one point, like its eyes blink. Like it's the only clear shot you get of its face, and it's so unsettling that like I don't understand. Let's get into
How the hell did they get Sam Elliott for this movie?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. I
feel like
to know.
maybe they're relative. Like maybe his family. Like maybe you know what I mean.
Something.
The dialogue in this
It's
movie
bad.
is so bad. And let me just say this. Like, I felt like, okay, me, Rachel, who's never written a screenplay before, if I did, like, attempted to, like, take a stab at it, this might be how I write, where I would be like, you know, character A says, "Hi, how are you?" Girlfriend says, "I am fine." Like, that's what the dialogue was like. It was just like, it was retching, like how...
No, I'm like, how old? I mean, I don't
And there
know.
was so much of it. This movie was titled The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. And yet, there was so
It was mostly
much
about his relationship with a
dialogue.
woman way a long time ago in the past and his brother, and both of those relationships were really flat and
Oh,
flawed.
yeah. They were just like...
And like a kid telling a story. Is
Yeah,
what it was like,
yeah.
you know?
It was just like, oh my gosh. And it had two scenes in it. One scene was when he gets like asked by the government. He's the only person that can go and hunt down Bigfoot because he's, you know, immune to the disease he has. And he chooses his weapons. Like they open up this big room all full of like weapons. And he's like, I want this gun, this scope, and this knife.
Awesome scene.
It was like the best scene in the whole movie because it was so like quick. The camera like zoomed in super fast for some reason. It was the way I thought the whole movie was going to be.
Well, that's why this movie is frustrating and why it's terrible and not like it is, because it had promise.
Yeah.
And it was the acting in it, despite the dialogue,
Yeah.
was actually really
good.
They cast it well. There were some like interesting scenes. They clearly the director, the writer, same person, I think, producer, same person. I think they had some good ideas. It just didn't quite all come together, and some of the ideas, some of the things worked visually, and so there was like, it's like a movie where you're like, oh, this could have been a good movie.
Yeah. It really could have been. It really could have been a really great movie. And it was interesting. So the thing with Hitler, it was rewriting history.
Like conspiracy theory
but
stuff.
not exactly.
But it's out there, I'm sure. So it took that and did something with it. And I love that.
So yeah, so they kept like our history of World War II, but then just stuck in that like
the real story.
What really happened is, you know, this guy killed Hitler, but like his idea was they made up the story about the suicide. Really interesting to me.
And there were 2 more Hitlers after that, he said.
Oh, okay, yeah. See,
anyway,
there was so much going on, it was hard to follow. Like,
yeah.
But like, just man, it was so bad. Really, really bad.
Like, yeah.
I mean, we're kind of speechless at this point, but we want you to know.
But I loved it. I mean, I loved seeing it. And to be fair, like whoever made this movie, they really put themselves out there. They had this crazy idea, and they did it. And maybe not everything worked just for me and Rachel. It didn't work for us. But I don't know. Maybe they loved what they did. And if that's true, like that's awesome. I'm glad that I saw this movie. I'm saying skip, right? But at the same time, last night, I could not stop looking at this thing. I was like, this movie's crazy.
And maybe there's a part of you that wants to just support an artist out there who made this movie and took the risk and did it, because it's because of movies like this that this person grows, and maybe they make the next best movie. You know what I mean? Or other movies are made like this that can be better. And like there has to be some misses out there to get the hits.
Yeah.
And
I've had plenty of misses in my own
nobody
life.
bats 1,000, so...
Nobody. Not even the great Ted Williams.
But you can bat 1,000 with Rachelsey at the Movies by liking, commenting, and subscribing to this episode.
That's 3 for 3, baby. That's 1,000. That's right.
Boom.
Send me so sad.